Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to another late night edition of the Missing Lynx post-game live stream podcasting. I'm Andrew Dukowitz from Zone Coverage and Sports Illustrated. I get to start saying that now, so that's
Yay,
me.
congratulations.
Thank you. And that's Kinga Taylor, who's joining after a Sylvia Fowles Hall of Fame jersey patch edition celebration. That's probably what we'll call it the rest of the way.
Yeah.
But Kinga, how's it going?
It's going great. It was wonderful to be at the game today and be part of the celebrations.
Yeah, this is like the third or fourth one since I've been on the beat that they've done. Like this one, I think I was at Syl's original jersey retirement that they hung up there. So third, if I'm counting right. But like, I guess from your perspective, because you've been a Lynx fan for a couple of years, I got into basketball just in the last couple of years. Like what is it like from someone who didn't watch those teams, but now watching the jerseys get retired every single season?
Well, here's the thing. I need someone to send me the video of Cheryl Reeve crying, because that is either I was hallucinating, it was AI, or she does have like a huge soft spot. It is just a testament of like what has been built here and what is continuing to be here, and that it feels like, from what everybody was talking about and how, from Cheryl to Lindsay Whalen to everybody, is that it doesn't feel like anybody is taking their foot off the pedal. And It's just so great to be in the presence of such greatness, and it just reignites the pride in this organization, in this team, the people at the helm, the players, and the city overall.
It is like kind of wild that 2017 championship is now 10 years ago essentially, and other than like one down year and one kind of, I guess you could say like 1.5 down years, like they really haven't lost a whole lot over those years. And I mean, the other basketball team that plays here, we bring up fairly often, like they've had more success in the last 10 years with no championships than the Wolves have in their entire franchise history.
Correct. And I think I think I said this on the Wolves post-game live thingy that you do, that I came from Eastern Europe. I didn't really watch basketball. I used to watch soccer and F1 in my family, and when I came to Minnesota, the only thing that I knew about sports was that the Lynx were a winning franchise. I heard nothing about the Timberwolves. All I knew is they stink and the Lynx are champions.
And it's kind of like, again, all of these ceremonies, it's like you look at one side of the arena and it's like Commissioner's Cup champions, WNBA champions times 4, 5 jerseys up there. 3 of them have Hall of Fame patches. Maya's, I would assume, is going to get added in the near future.
Yeah.
I mean, if Antoine Jameson can get into the NBA, into the Naismith Hall of Fame, like Rebecca Brunson should be in the Hall of Fame. Like I assume that will come at some point as well. Like it's just wild. And then you look at like this current team and it's like, if they win a championship, Kayla McBride's probably up there. Fee's probably up there. Yeah. Courtney, if she plays 5 years or 6 years with the franchise and wins a ring, is probably up there. Liv, 30 games into her career, certainly looks like she's going to be up there. Like, they're going to be on like row 2 of rafters by the time the Wolves get anything up there.
Yeah, by the time the Wolves maybe win the Emirates Cup.
Which, if they hang a banner for the Emirate Cup and that's the first thing they have, that's tough. Don't do that. Timberwolves organization, but it
I
is.
hope they're gonna be like the Lakers, and who didn't like put up a banner. That's what we shouldn't do.
Exactly. When you have multiple banners like the Lynx do, you can put up the Commissioner's Cup. When you have no banners, you can't have that be your first banner. Like that's just not how it works. I guess kind of getting into, I have one more question for you. Like, do you have any experience of like watching those 2015, 2017 teams, or is it just kind of like you're all in on this team for the last 2.5 years because this is what you know, and that team is like a different sport almost?
That is a different sport. I stumbled into Minnesota basketball because during, what was it, 2021, someone invited me to a game because their whole family who was going to go to the game got COVID, and she's like, I have 6 tickets. Do you want to come to a game? And I'm like, I know nothing about the Wolves or basketball, but I will go to an outing. And that kind of flipped everything. And now thinking about it, I moved to Minnesota in 2008. So I could have been a part of 2 championships, and now I may never see any. Hopefully that is not true. But no.
I would put my money on the Lynx winning one at some point. Like they're so close. It's just at some point the luck is going to roll their way, and there's not going to be like a commissioner calling something in or the entire team falling prey to injury. Like, I don't know. It's fascinating because like I'm in a similar boat where I was in college when the Lynx were good, and I'm just going to be honest, like it wasn't like the cool thing for college men to do, to like watch Lynx games. So I ended up just going to a ton of them, not because it was like the cool and hip thing to do, but because when I was my now wife, who, you know, puts up with me most of the time, when we were dating, I would get like courtside tickets for like $40 because the Lynx games were like super cheap to go to. And it's very impressive when your boyfriend brings you to a courtside Lynx game.
Yeah.
Little did she know that, you know, there wasn't a ton of money put into it, but it's the same thing. It's like you go to a game and it's fun. And I remember like going to games more so because it was a cheap date that would make me look good. And then after a couple games, it's just like, I'm all in. Like, this team's fun to watch. I'm completely bought into the system. Then Maya Moore retired, and I kind of checked out for like 3 years. Sorry, everyone, but that one hurt.
Actually, I lied because callback to Wednesday. During the summers, I used to work for an adventure club program, and one of the field trips that we had was going to Lynx games, but those were in and you know, I was managing children, not trying to watch the game. I do have still a picture in my phone of one of the kids falling asleep during the Lynx game on camp day. But I think
those were
2 or 3.
Those were like the fun days because like all the kids went down to center court and just like danced with the team, and like it was. COVID.
We were
some things.
The Columbia Heights Adventure Club was in the nosebleeds.
I mean, that's fair. So you went to camp days like as someone supervising camp day children?
Yes.
That must have been awful.
So I used to work in the summers. I used to work for the Columbia Heights Adventure Club, which is a lovely program. And one of the field trips were to come to the Lynx, and it was, let me tell you, tons of children like coming out of buses was just, it was an experience. And these were like first, second, third, and fourth graders.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I was very thankful I got to miss camp day this year because I was in Vegas, because last year I left with just a splitting migraine from like the 10,000 elementary school girls and boys screaming the entire time. I couldn't imagine being in the crowd with that and having to like make sure children don't die.
Right. Yeah. and at least it was contained, but it was still like you still have to make sure. And then like the minute you sit down somewhere with elementary age kids, like everybody needs to go to the bathroom. So there was also a lot of like, Miss Kinga, I need to go to the bathroom. So
I feel like that almost set you. The fact that you're a Lynx fan after having to endure that is almost more impressive, because I feel like that's almost the worst first impression to an event that you can have.
It was always stressful because like they dropped us off by like Target Field, kind of in like that whatever area, but like every camp program was offloading their children there. So there was just like a sea of children. And then, you have to look for who's wearing your colored t-shirt to make sure that like, 40 of the kids that were in our group stayed together, or even more. I don't even know how many kids we had with us, but yeah.
You could not sell me on a worse thing to do. Like, that sounds so awful, Kinga.
Science museum with 8th graders is worse.
Really?
Yeah. Running around after 8th graders is harder than like managing elementary school kids.
See, I have a friend that's a 6th grade teacher. He's a math teacher, and like he consistently talks about how rough 6th grade is compared to like 3rd and 4th grade, which he's taught before. Is like middle school, like 8th grade, is that
kind of so 8th grade
different?
Yes, 8th grade is like on the edge of like 6th graders and 7th graders are babies, and we are technically high schoolers, and they try to act like that and running around making sure that they don't get into hijinks in the science museum is also an experience.
Good Lord, I'm so glad all I have to deal with is like gross wounds. I would much rather take like a patient in a coma than like an 8th grader.
Hey,
on the 8th graders listening, but like, woof, sounds like a tough hang.
I mean, you always need to be on your game, because otherwise they are wily little things.
I literally can't even imagine. Like, I know how big of like a shithead I was when I was in 8th grade in high school. I can't even imagine having to deal with just one of me, let alone like 30 to 60.
I love it. And like now that I'm not in the classroom, there's like I sub a lot, because otherwise like I miss the chaos. Like I trained to be a physical therapist, and part of the reason that I came to the US is because at the end of the program, I realized that I cannot be a physical therapist, because it is like very calm and very slow and very like, and I was like, and then I came here and started working at a school, and I'm like, oh, I'll be a teacher, because this chaos is exactly what I need.
I mean, I let the WNBA have the chaos side of my life. Like, I remember in nursing school, one of our professors always talked about like, you need to be like a duck. Like on the top of the water, you look calm, but then underneath, if you ever look at like a duck's feet when they're like swimming, it's like just chaos and terrible. Like that's nursing in a nutshell. Like we seem calm, but like normally it's just up anxiety and caffeine that keeps us going, and rage. A lot of rage in nursing that keeps us going.
But, like some days I like my teaching style is duty. Like
Katie has a good point. Andrew, I'm happy to hear you yap, but I'm dying to talk about the game. We are 14 minutes in, and all we have talked about is children and Sylvia Fowles, which pretty different. But let's talk about the game, because Lynx did have a basketball game tonight. First off, announced attendance of 12,101 is insane.
That is
like every time they open up a section, Lynx fans sell out. Like that was an insane atmosphere. It was loud. It was fun. Also, I just have to shout out to the officials, because there was 25 fouls in this game, and the game lasted an hour and 44 minutes on my score sheet right here. And that is chef's kiss. I have no notes. How was your game watching experience?
It was great. There was no there were no challenges. There were not a lot of free throws. We kept it going, which is really nice, because sometimes like it just gets people out of rhythm, and like the friend that I go to games with and people around us, like for some reason people now are afraid every pass, like when they cross center court, because there was that stupid call a couple of
the backcourt.
The backcourt violation. So everybody, like, I was holding my breath. I'm like, okay, nobody called the backcourt violation, because it just takes players so out of their rhythm. And I don't know, like, I don't think that officiating has gotten any better from last season. I think they are just inconsistently calling more things. And I we talked about this at the beginning of the season, and hopefully that was going to get better, and it has not gotten better.
I worry like what playoffs is going to be, because I like the NBA playoffs, they go from calling such a ticky-tack game to just like basically it's a completely different sport when the NBA playoffs happen.
MMA out there.
Yeah, and in the W, it's not quite as ticky-tack. Like they still let them play for the most part. Like it's inconsistent ticky-tack, to your point, where like it'll be a moving screen or like a impeding of motion, or whatever the call is, where it's an off-ball foul, and they'll call it like 3 times in a row, and then they won't call it again for the rest of the game. And it's like, well, why did we take this side quest to call 3 of them and then never return back to it? I have been increasingly worried, though, of like, if they have the same kind of switch that flips in the WNBA at playoffs, like WNBA players aren't going to play night. Like they are used to physicality. They are used to kind of that style of play. And if the officials, playoffs start and they throw their hands up, like it just could end poorly. So I'm very, I know officiating has been a hot topic over the last month, to say the least, but like I'm more worried about it.
And other teams have things that happen that bring that more to the forefront, and I don't know what I think about that, but from kind of in general, it's just like you never know what is a foul and what is not a foul. I think like from as a spectator, to me, like, the most I feel that is bothered by it or like thrown off by it is Nia. And I don't know if that is true or not, but I feel like every time she's just like so thrown off of like, how is that a foul? But
I completely agree with you. Like, I feel like Nia plays a very consistent game. Like, she's very like physical to start off games. She's pretty handsy, like on rebounds and stuff. Like she's the typical like glue gritty player. Like that's how she plays the game. And there are some games where she gets 2 fouls in the first 3 minutes and she's like, what did I do? And then there's other games where she'll get 1 foul the entire game and she doesn't change her play at all. It's just literally whatever officials decide they're going to do or who's on the staff, or I can't imagine how frustrating it is for them, which, does it warrant like outbursts and screaming at the officials and some of the stuff that's been going on? Probably not. But at the same time, like, I'm a pretty petty person. I'd get pretty frustrated real quick if things were getting called like that.
Right. Yeah.
In terms of the actual game, though, 101-93 win. Lynx offense looked awesome. Liv has 2 turnovers, 10 assists. She's only had 2 turnovers since the Mercury game where she had 5 turnovers, which I brought this up when I was sitting there like waiting for Cheryl to come in, of just Liv has had 6 games with 5 or more turnovers and 5 games with 1 or 0 turnovers. And like everything in between is like either 4 or 2. Like it really seems like she is either turning the ball over at a pretty good clip or not turning the ball over at all. And I guess just like, does that kind of come across when you're watching the game to you too, where it's just some games it feels like, okay, she's going to be loose with it?
I think it comes across of like, is she experimenting with something, or like kind of like being carelessly fun with things. I think that as a fan, that comes across of like, oh, I have more swagger, and it's like more of like a loosey goosey type of, not even, I think saying loosey goosey is not fair to her, but I think like there are just times where she's just being more free with it and experimenting with things and taking like either like challenging shots or not being as like regimented. And I think that like, you know, young players experiment with like what they can do and what they can't do and how they can expand their game. And I think it might be something to do with that.
Cheryl kind of said similar thing. First off, she said my question was weird, which Cheryl, I'm the turnover guy. I will be asking about turnovers. And she kind of said the same thing. Like, I'm not worried about a young player. I'd have to look at all of the turnovers to like see if there was something that was a trend of them, but like she's not worried about it at all, which
Yeah.
no, I think that's fair. Like, it's not costing them games. And I think
Right.
Liv being able to play with the swagger is probably the most important thing. It's just odd, you know, like
Yeah.
it's just weird to me. Nicole brings up Liv 5 of 14, wishes she would take a little bit more layups than the fancy moves. I think that's going to be something Lynx fans are going to be dealing with her entire career, because I don't see the fancy spin it 6 feet up off the glass and then drop it in shots leaving. I just think
Probably not.
that's who she is, right?
And I think like some of her turnovers is when like she wants to do like an extra fancy no look trick pass. And then like I was like, how is that? Like that whole, nobody was going to catch that one. I'm sorry. But I mean, and you can let her do that because so much of the time she is just fantastic. And I'm like, if you want to play today a little bit and go wild with your passes, go ahead. And you want to, you know, shoot trick shots, by all means.
I mean, that's the thing, right? If they were losing games, I think you probably raise your eyebrows some more. But because she's doing this and they're winning, then it's just like, yeah, have fun out there.
Yeah.
Katie brings up Howard was almost perfect offensively. I think her only miss was when she got fouled and made her free throws. Wanted her to get the ball more. Completely agree. She was 5 for 5 in the first quarter for 10 points, took 3 shots the rest of the game. It almost felt like they just forgot Tosh existed, if that makes sense. I don't know. What was your kind of take on Tasha's game? Because it did seem like first quarter, awesome. Rest of the game, you know, she was out there.
She was out there.
I'm sure some of that is Portland saying we're not going to let Tosh score 40 points tonight, but also like it did feel like they just kind of lost her a little bit.
Yeah, and it also feel like maybe I'm like, oh, we need to get to All-Star, but I feel like a lot of them are just like tired as well. So I don't know what was happening with Tosh, but she seemed fine in the beginning, and I don't know what happened after that.
To your point, I mean, no fouls. She wasn't in foul trouble. She only played 25 minutes. Like, that's not, for Tosh, that's not a ton of minutes. Like, it just was kind of an odd game. A couple people have brought up Dorka in the chat. Awesome Dorka, the best of Dorka's 4 games so far.
She was really awesome today, and you can like still see that she's a little bit rusty and like, you know, was getting into a rhythm, and then she goes out with that knee injury, and today it was just so refreshing to have someone who is taller and bigger out there. I think that the Lynx need that a lot, and I think that's why maybe that Phoenix game was as tight because I was like, oh, Dorca's not playing. I was like, we could have used a little bit of size, and it wouldn't have been as spooky when like Phoenix was hitting everything. So having her out there was awesome, and then not just shooting threes like she did when she first came back, but like, you know, layups and like being really active around the rim. I think that was also great to see. So hopefully she can get into a little bit more rhythm. And then I don't think All-Star really helps with that, because now you're going to be off.
And you're off for a week.
I think it's going to be great for K-Mac and for Tash and for Courtney and for Liv, and not that great for Dorca, because she's like, I just started playing.
I mean, to your point, Dorca, 6 of 7 inside the arc. She was 0 for 3 from 3. It's almost like she remembered she's the tallest person like on the court, and just also 5 assists. I was really impressed with Dorca tonight. I don't, you look at like the plus minus, she was -6, but like she was really good.
She was really good. It was really awesome watching her out there, and it was really nice having some more size and tall people out there.
Yeah, it's again, like the first 3 games, it was a lot of threes, to your point. It was a lot of just like, I don't know if I'd say like the defensive issues were necessarily like better. Like I think she still had a couple times where like the guard blows past the matchup and she's like, I'm not going to rotate in fully, but I'm also not going to cover the 3-point all the way. Like there's some weird defensive stuff, but I chalk that more up to just she hasn't been able to play a ton with these gals. But like the offensive stuff, like if this is the Dorca we can expect the rest of the season, like holy cow. Again, 5 assists from your 6'5" center is wild.
Yeah. It was she had a fantastic game. I really enjoyed watching her. And someone in the chat brought up maskless Ola Kosu. Yes. She looked fantastic. Did she get stronger now that her mask is off? Because she was so aggressive out there in like a more confident way.
Yeah.
And someone brought up her steals, and those were great. And I'm like, I think she looks stronger out there. Maybe
I say it every time. Like it just looks like it would physically hurt to play basketball against her. She is a football player playing basketball, and like I don't like, especially where media sits. We sit kind of in the corner across from the Lynx bench, underneath the basket, and when they are defending that spot and Ola is on the floor, she just physically moves people, and I don't know what her ceiling was. I unironically tweeted out like she could be the 3rd best player on the Lynx 3 years from now. I wouldn't even be surprised at this point, because she's so fast, she's so athletic, she's so strong, and the offense will come. At some point the jump shot will be fixed. At some point she works so hard at it that like threes are going to be an option. And once the offense is better, I mean, the sky's the limit, right?
Yeah. I mean, yes, because she's just so great with her defense, and she is so strong, and she kind of has like that aggressiveness that Nia has. That they seem very similar in that aspect. So yeah. I mean, she's like so, and she's so young, and she's getting minutes, and unlike Lishka, like she got a second shift. So
that's the thing. She's 21. I think it was BB who said it in one of the practices. Like, she'd be a sophomore in college, or like a redshirt sophomore if she didn't get drafted. To just sit there and think that this player is sitting there in a practice with McCarville, Rebecca Brunson, Lindsay Whalen, Cheryl Reeve. She has Natasha Howard to pick her brain about, and now Nia Coffey, who is one of the smarter players I think that are been on this team the last couple of years. Like, I know at some point someone from like national media is going to tweet out the like Ola Kosu really
Ola
good type of thing, and it's
she's good at basketball.
Watching it up close, she's going to be just scary good when she's 25, 26. I'm
She's so much better. So like last year, like watching her from last year to this year, like her body is strong. I think that she's stronger. She's stronger looking this year than she was last year, and she's just way more confident, way more assertive. I think and hopefully she can keep some of her minutes once Fee gets back. But I think, like you said, like once she develops her offense a little bit more, she's going to be an amazing player.
I just, again, it's just like whatever Cheryl saw from her in the grainy Russian footage that she got last year, it's just a home run for her. The fact that you get a role player in the second round in the second year of their career is already crazy. The fact that like we're 6 years away from peak Ola Kosu is just mind-blowing. Katie brings up, unfortunately convinced they're going to lose Ola to the expansion draft. I think it really depends. And I was talking to Terry Horseman about it tonight and Cassidy. Cassidy, you were in the conversation. Cassidy was there too. I think it really depends on what the expansion draft rules are. If they're back to normal where you get to protect 6 players and they can't draft free agents, like Ola's probably one of those 6 players at this point. Like,
yeah,
2 years from now, like Olivia, you're probably doing court. There's going to be so many free agents. Like, I think Ola is a blue chip type of prospect that they got to protect at all costs.
Her and probably, because like now Katie is raising my anxiety because I'm like, what are they going to do with Emma when Emma gets back? Like, which Eastern European are we going to?
I mean, now you're just like the next iteration of the Lynx. It might be Olivia Miles. Kayla McBride's still here because she's never going to retire. Like Ola Kosu at the 3.
She's getting younger. I think she's getting younger.
She might be getting younger. Ola Kosu at the 3, Fee at the 4, and then Emma at the 5. Like, they're just going to Hall of Famers on Hall of Famers on Hall of Famers. It's not fair at some point. I'm going to throw us over to a quick ad read here. Once we come back, we'll speculate on when Fee comes back, and I'll probably be wrong again on when Fee comes back, but we'll at least guess on it, and then we'll get out of here before midnight.
Well, hello. Thank you, Livestream Andrew. This is Ad Read Andrew. And today we have Firehawk Construction and Remodeling, the presenting sponsor for the Missing Lynx podcast. Firehawk Construction and Remodeling strives to inspire people to follow their ideas, working with respect and understanding to create a quality, tailored result. Firehawk Construction and Remodeling, located in Blaine and serving in the North Metro area, is here to help you with your building and remodeling needs. I can say personally, thanks to Firehawk Construction and Remodeling, I have a beautiful deck in my backyard and countless projects that I started, they finished. Get started on your new deck or remodel today by calling Isaac at 763-710-5686. And we're back with another ad read. This time for Pence Homes, the presenting sponsor of Hitting the Hardwood Network. From the best tools and technology to transparency throughout the entire process, Nate Pence and the Pence Homes team is the top choice for buyers, sellers, and is proud to support you and your home ownership goals. Get started today by calling 612-308-1122 or by emailing info@pencehomes.com.
So Miss Nafisa Collier gets her PLE released. Jordan Brand already marketing it as the return of Nafisa Collier. I'll be honest. I'm trying to look for the comment here. Nicole says Fee going to play in Seattle. I would be at this point kind of stunned. Like, if you're going to bring her back for a noon game at Seattle, you might as well just wait until after the All-Star break at this point. I do feel pretty strongly that like you got to have Fee. You don't need to win very many more games before the end of the season. Like, bringing Fee back at home, I think, is a priority, right?
Yes, and I think I don't think that there is any way that she's going to play in any of those Seattle games. I think that would be kind of silly. So I think they're probably just going to wait until we're back home after. Is the first game at home or away after the All-Star game?
I will look it up right now. Katie says, speaking of Mac, she's on a heater. She absolutely is. Another 9 of 14, 4 of 8 from 3. She's second all time on the Lynx in 3-pointers made now. Jude kind of clarifies on the expansion drafts coming up. Cleveland's next, but we are on 2-year contracts. So if free agents are not up, we can protect deep for that one. I would assume free agents would not. I don't think they're ever going to do something like this again. I would assume it's just different. Words with Dirt says, hear me out. We play the rest of the season without Fee. If we don't go all the way, we'll have an excuse. That's the most Minnesotan comment I have ever seen. First game back from the All-Star break is at home, at Target Center against the Tempo, 7 p.m. So that'd be a good one.
That would be a good. One.
They play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of their next 6 at home. So feels like after the All-Star break would be a good place to come back, right? Toronto, not necessarily.
I would think so, and then we are nearing August, and I think that while Fee she's practicing, not that you're not, but she's practicing and getting the rust off, but you just like we see with Dorka, you do have to get acquainted with your teammates, and roles changing and shifting, you would want to have a little bit more of a run before the playoffs so that you don't feel that you are starting anew with a brand new team. So that is kind of what has been worrying me a little bit with Fee not coming back, is I'm well, when Olivia figured out how to work with how to play with Tosh, but she's been doing that for half of the season now. And then when Fee gets back, all those relationships and on-court things that they're probably working on in practice, but you still have to kind of do it in live games to figure out where everybody's spots are and what they prefer, how they like to play. And if you haven't done that now for half of the season, I just want there to be a bigger run before the playoffs so that everybody feels comfortable in their new role.
To your point, after the All-Star break, the Lynx play 16 games. In that 16-game span, they play the Fever 3 times. They play the Liberty once, the Valkyries twice, the Dream once, the Aces once, and the Wings once. That's 16 games, and 9 of them, 10 of them are against playoff teams. That is a tough stretch.
That is.
If they don't bring her back against the Tempo to kind of get the first, if they bring her back after All-Star break, you got Tempo, Fever, Sparks. That's pretty good runway. 3 out of 4,
right.
Games that are very winnable. If she's out until the Fever game or the Aces game, then it's just 10 to 12 games of just a brutal slog. Jude brings up, don't forget the FIBA break. I'm just real quick. This is just Andrew Dukowitz being a little irritated with scheduling gods. They play the Valkyries on August 24th, Monday at home. Then they have 6 days off before they play at Atlanta and then go on the break. Why couldn't we play at Atlanta on the 25th, 26th, 27th, 28th, or 29th? Why do we need 6 days? That Atlanta game.
WNBA scheduling makes no sense. WNBA makes no sense.
It makes no sense. And as a teacher, you'll appreciate this. That is you have a 3-day, a 2-day week, Thursday, Friday, going into Christmas break. That is the biggest trap game, the Lynx, I think
You
you could
mean
give
like
them.
in my district where we have to go in Monday and Tuesday before winter break? Yes, I do.
It's just, it makes no sense to me. I'm
It
already
doesn't. And I'm
annoyed
like,
by it. It's
first
a
of all, like
road game at 2 p.m. Like, we couldn't get that in any time else.
and it's 15 teams and 42 games? 44 games.
42?
And you have like, and this is what my husband always says, why do they play back-to-backs? Like, there's no reason why 15 teams that have like May through September, I guess, to play back-to-backs. And then there are weeks where like nobody plays, and then days when like everybody plays, and then we play back-to-back. Like, I think that they may be like hiring high schoolers for like their summer jobs to do schedules. And in that case, Kathy, call me. I have the summers off. I think that I could come up with a better schedule.
Also, like, if they're using AI, like, program it differently. Like, I don't know. The Lynx play 3 games in 4 nights on August 6th, 8th, and 9th, but then have a 6-day break before a 2-week break. Like, that's just me being on my high horse, but it was so annoying.
It makes no sense.
It makes no sense.
Also,
for Lynx players, they're just going to have 5 days off, and then have to go to Atlanta and then back to Minnesota, because I would assume like Fee isn't going to be playing in FIBA this year. Liv isn't going to be on the FIBA team. Like,
yeah,
I think Tony is on the Belgian team, and I think Lishka is on the Czech team. But I think, and Dorka might be on the Hungarian team, not Hungaria team. That's not what that is. So like none of the like main 6, are going to be on those teams. Like, what a weird thing. Anyways, seeing some comments about Cheryl making the butt of the joke and everybody being irritated. Tosh after the game said that like they understand it. It's just Cheryl being Cheryl and making a joke, but also like there is some seriousness to that joke. Like, the defense does need to get better, and honestly, like, all of them should be irritated.
I like with the commenters. There's time and place, and then maybe this wasn't the time or the place.
It probably wasn't the time or the place. Dustin, want to get to your question here, then we'll get out of here. Interested of Fee's vibes from media today. Seemed to be very different tone from that preseason presser. Yeah, Fee was in a good mood. I think, Fee is a very interesting like media person, because she is like very charming and she's very well spoken, but she also doesn't really say anything important in her media avails usually. Like, it's very like team oriented, pass the praise off to somebody else, accept the blame. Like, she's a very good like media trained athlete. Today she was just, I think, having fun. Like, we were talking about her shoes and I was like picking on her for her ankles and being Queen FOMO. Like, I think Fee, when there's not a ton of people like accosting her for not signing longer than a 1-year deal, she's a little bit more open and fun. And when there's like 7 cameras there and 15 people, I think she's less fun and open, which I would be the same way. If there was people, like 20 people asking me questions, I'd be a lot more reserved than if there was 5.
And again, like, there's such a spotlight on you, and like we've seen it with like both WNBA players and NBA players, and I'm guessing like it is the same in other leagues. Like, smart players watch what they say or don't say, because anything that they say or do not say is going to be used against them. And I think like we see that in the WNBA with other players of like, they're not saying this and why they're not saying this, or they are saying this and why they're saying that. And it's just one of those things that she is probably more in tuned with than, people on the Timberwolves.
There's also like, I'll use Summer League as an example. Like, Jaden McDaniels and Terrence Shannon Jr. came to a Summer League team, and there was the entire baseline open of seats, and they come and sit in front of me and Henry Lake. They say hi and they sit there because they know that like I'm around all the time. Lake's around pretty frequently. We're not going to like eavesdrop and aggregate a lot of their stuff. Like, I think it's the same way in the WNBA where it's like Fee sees me, Terry, Cassidy, and like a camera. And it's like, okay, these people aren't going to ask me things to make me look bad. These people aren't going to like crap on me or like word things that'll get me in trouble. Like I can be a little bit more personal with these people because like they're here all the time. Whereas when there's like 6 cameras and like 15 different people, you just have to like mind your P's and Q's, just like, you know, Jaden and TJ looking up and down press row and going, those two aren't going to screw me over. I think it's the same way when like players are walking into a scrum of just like, those people aren't going to screw me over. I'm going to go like,
And the last time, like, and if we think back how Fee's last presser ended at the end of the year, like coming back and sitting down for the first time after that press conference, I would be like, that would be in the back of my mind and kind of being guarded of like, am I going to be asked about that again? Like, because you never know, like you said, if there's like a million people there, you never know who is going to ask what questions.
And like fans are smart. Like I think fans know there's people in the media that will use anything they can for clicks. I mean, that's
100%.
I know it's ironic saying that as someone that works for Sports Illustrated that has spent 6 years being only clickbait, but they're trying to get away from it. So that's what I'm going to try and help them do. Anyways, like,
hey, your articles aren't going to be written by AI. They're going to be written by you. So
they're going to be written by me and they are not going to be clickbait. But the point of that is like, I think they're like players and fans know that too. Like players kind of get the feel of like what everyone's shtick is after a couple of years. And again, like what I would say is, you know, today there's 4 of us and a camera versus the last time Fee did media, there was like 30 of us and 10 cameras. Like, it's just that it's always going to be a little bit different. But Kinga, we're almost hitting 50 minutes. Where can people find you? Plug anything you got going on. Also, I hear you're working for Victory Plus.
I don't
contracted.
Yes, it's so I am contracted as in I am cross posting my TikTok things on to Victory Plus. So if people go onto the app and scroll down, there are a couple of us content creators that are sharing our stuff on Victory Plus as well. And so that's a great opportunity to have that. And I'm very, very excited and kind of like blown away that something like that happened. When, you know,
I'm in the same boat.
I'm like, every time that you ask me about it, like I start sweating because I'm like, how am I here? I'm like, and like how?
Same feelings every day. All right. Well, if anyone
like, how did this happen? Yeah, so people can find my stuff on Victory Plus and on TikTok.
At Kinga B, right?
At Kinga B, yes.
Okay, perfect. For anyone that joined into this late, the first 10 minutes of it is us talking about bringing elementary schoolers to camp day. So if you're not into that, skip forward 10 minutes. You can find the entire basketball-esque podcast of it. It'll be up on YouTube, X, and Buzzer as soon as I end stream. If you can wait until tomorrow morning, it does come out on as a audio anywhere you get your podcasts at 7 a.m. Kinga, thanks for doing this as always. And for everyone else, we'll catch you after the Seattle games. Noon game next time. We'll catch you after a noon game in Seattle.